Chris, did you ever play past the junior varsity level of basketball?
Well, I got asked to leave the varsity team. So, yes, I did play varsity basketball, but I got asked to leave.
And why did you get asked to leave?
Creative differences with the coach.
And what kind of creative differences?
He thought that I was probably a little bit better at football, and they were like, we don't want to risk you getting hurt and taking your time, so we need to get you out to run track and play football. So they said it's probably the best thing for you.
DC ain't even make JV team. I love it.
I 100% did, and I was asked to leave. And, there's a lot of people out there that know why and that can stay. It's not something we need to dig up.
It was fighting was involved, if I'm not mistaken, correct? You beat somebody. Basically, you bullied somebody.
I was a lover, not a fighter, and I have the daughter to prove it, So
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big B Daily. This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. What is going on, people? We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. What is happening? Appreciate everybody being here, man. What's going on, TikTok? We got a lot of stuff that we are covering today, man. So stick around. Again, keep tapping the screen. 5,000 likes. 30 new follows. Continue to tap that screen, man. We appreciate you all being here. If you're on YouTube, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Anybody on TikTok, click on the subscribe button and come on over to YouTube, man. So, and all you have to do is subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over there. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for showing up, showing out. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, we're here. So if you want to support the show, we appreciate it. Continue to send the likes, the follows, subscribe. If you want to control the conversation, there's always the super chats on YouTube to be able to do that. There's always the likes and the gifts, the tips over on TikTok. Appreciate all the support. Let's get into this, people. Let's get into this. First thing is, man, the women completely outshine the men in this NCAA tournament. Look, I mean, I don't think anybody would have ever thought that a national championship game for the women would get, number one, they got 18.9 million views. That's number one. That's insane. Good for them. But they outdid the men by over 4 million viewers. Whew, man, it is just incredible. Just incredible. But either way, the bottom line is the ladies just did an outstanding job of, number one, ESPN of promoting that tournament. Caitlin Clark had a ton to do with it, clearly. But to say that they got 4 million more viewers for a national title game, who would have thought that, man? I mean, would anybody ever think that at all? I don't think they would. But that's what happened. That's what happened. Now, the one thing, somebody's pointing it out, and you're right, Sean. The game time for the men, 9:20. Basically, the game didn't even start till like 9:30 on the East Coast. What are they doing? I mean, come on. 9:30. I mean, look, I know that you want to get West Coast viewers. I understand that. And I know the game was on the West Coast. I mean, it was in Phoenix. I don't care. You got to start the game an hour earlier. I mean, Monday Night Football doesn't even come on that late. And they have plenty of viewership. Monday Night Football, if they have a game in LA, they don't push the game back an hour. NCAA is just stupid. I mean, I know that's an oxymoron because everybody already knows that, but what are you doing? Lord have mercy. And if you don't want to have it on Monday, which I mean, it's been on Monday forever, then have the damn thing on a Saturday or something or a different day. But you cannot put a national championship game just because it's on the West Coast and start the game at the NCAA at 9:20. Oh, my goodness. But that's what you get. That's what you get. Good job, ESPN. Look, I thought that ESPN made a mistake by having the women's game come on. What was it, 3 Eastern? I thought, oh, man, what are they doing? Well, clearly it didn't hurt their ratings. Maybe they could have gotten more if they had it on Sunday night. Maybe. But, again, 18.9 million viewers thought otherwise. And whatever their plans were for Sunday, they changed them to tune in to this basketball game. Look, but that's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's commendable. It was the highest rated program in the history of ESPN if you take out football games. The highest rated program in the history of ESPN. Think about that for a second. That's crazy. That is just crazy. Good for them. Good for them. Now, can it be sustained? That's where the follow-up to all this is. Can you sustain it? Who's going to be the next star? I think Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins can be the next star. ESPN and everybody that pubbed Caitlin Clark, and she deserved every bit of it. You got to do the same. You got to do the same. You know, because those girls, or I say girls, I apologize. Those women are extremely good. They're extremely good. So hopefully they do a good job of pubbing them up and keeping the women's game in the forefront. Keeping them in the forefront because, like I said, Paige and Juju are the next big thing. They are the next big thing. So, and again, I'm glad to see Paige Beckers get back because she was the big thing, and then she got hurt. And then she got back to it this year. Good for her. But those are the two biggest stars. Hopefully they keep promoting it. Hopefully the women's game continues and continues to grow. I like seeing it. I like watching it. You know, I'm invested. And I'll be invested next year because I want to see what happens next year. You know, new stars coming into the game. I think it's going to be great for the women's game. I think it's great for athletics. Look, money's involved, but the money isn't stupid to where it's getting in the way of women's college basketball. I think that's another reason why people are starting to gravitate to it. They have transfers. They do. But you don't see the transfers in the women's game like you do the men. Now, Haley Van Lith is a different story. You know, she was a superstar, and she was a superstar at Louisville and decided, well, I don't want to be at Louisville anymore. I'm going to go somewhere else and go to a better team. And it did not work out for her. It did not work out for her at all. And now she's transferring again. Hopefully it works out for her. Who knows? But the one thing that I do know is that the transfer portal is not near as prevalent in the women's college basketball game as it is in the men. And I think people respect that. I think people respect it. And they like it. So, my man Pat Cockrell, what's going on, man? What do you got here? Says, what are your thoughts of the hate toward Clark from the WNBA vets and so forth? Why trash the person and bringing more eyes to women's basketball? Or who's bringing more eyes to women's basketball? Are they trashing her? I mean, are they hating on her or are they just being honest? Like, they didn't say she couldn't play. They didn't say she wasn't any good. They didn't say that, you know, she's not going to succeed at the next level. They didn't say any of that. All they said was there's a difference between playing women's college basketball and playing professional basketball. Isn't that the truth? I mean, so it's not hating. All they're doing is telling the truth. So, S. Kenny, I'm sorry. Truth isn't hating. If you don't like the truth, then maybe don't talk to people if you don't like the truth. You know, jealousy may be part of it. Now, you might be right about that because she's getting all these eyeballs. Now, jealousy, I'll dive in with you on that one. that they could be jealous of all the attention that she's gotten, and they don't like the fact that she's gotten all this attention and she hasn't proven it, because they're already calling her the GOAT of women's basketball, and she hasn't played a second of professional basketball. So jealousy, I'm with you. I can rock with you. But they're not hating by saying, hey, it's another level. It's different. Because if men were saying that about college kids, nobody would say that they were wrong. Nobody would say that they're hating. They would say, yeah, there's a difference between playing college basketball and the NBA. So, and to say that if there's a difference between playing women's college basketball and in the WNBA, saying that doesn't make you hating. So if that's what you believe, you're just being silly. Now, can they be jealous? Yeah, I think they are, because she probably makes more money than a lot of them. I would guarantee that she makes more money from her endorsements. I would guarantee that she makes more money than probably 75% of the women in the WNBA. So it can be coming from a place of jealousy, and that they're ready for her to get into the league because they want to show, hey, man, if you can play, you can play. Shut me up. But on the other hand, they're just being the truth. They're just saying the truth. So I don't see it hating. Like, people are saying Diana Taurasi is hating. Diana Taurasi, first of all, is better than Caitlin Clark. Maybe not at this point in time because she's 41 years old. But at her peak, she's better than Caitlin Clark, including college. End of story. There is no question in my mind. That's my opinion. But her saying that there's different levels to it and that reality is coming, isn't she right? I mean, isn't she right? If reality's not coming, for instance, are they wrong for saying that there's another level, or are you just not supposed to say anything? Just don't say nothing. I don't get that. I don't get that. So my man S. Kenny said, I mean, it's no secret that people throw shade by not directly coming out and saying it. What? What shade does Diana Taurasi have to say to Caitlin Clark? Caitlin Clark hasn't proven anything on any level to be better than her. So tell me again why she didn't. And of those 75% of people that makes more money, she doesn't make more money than Diana Taurasi. So what part of that would she be jealous of? Like, she's not better than her. She hasn't accomplished more than her. She doesn't make more money than her. But the part that people didn't hear Diana Taurasi say was, if you can play and it translate, we'll find out immediately. Because if you're good, you're going to be good. She said that, and people leave that part out. They ignore that part. They ignore the part that said, hey, if you're good and it translate, you're going to be good. But she was honest and said, for a lot of people, it takes a few years for that to happen. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So Diana Taurasi is not jealous of anything that Caitlin Clark has. Now, there might be some others that are, but not her. And quite frankly, I haven't heard anybody else say anything. Matter of fact, I haven't heard anybody else say anything bad about her. Like, has anybody said, well, Caitlin Clark can't play? Did anybody say that? Did anybody say that she wasn't any good? Did anybody say she can't play at the WNBA level? Nobody said that. So, and I don't care if I'm in the minority to say that Diana Taurasi wasn't hating. I don't care. That's because people are falling all over themselves about Caitlin Clark. That's the difference. I'm not going to fall over myself about her. I think she's great. I think she's going to be good from day one in the WNBA. From day one, I think she's going to be really good. Not, it's going to take her a few years. I think from day one, because I think she's good. She can score. She doesn't defend anything, so that's a problem. But she works hard. She's got a good attitude. There's all these different attributes that she has that will translate to being great in the WNBA. But what Diana Taurasi said is the truth. She didn't lie. And not to mention, she didn't even bring her up. I don't remember her saying her name at all because she didn't. She didn't say Caitlin Clark is going to have to take some time to translate to this game. She was asked a question and she answered with the truth. And people are bent out of shape because we don't like the truth. We only like what we want to hear. We don't like hearing the truth. We don't. And then if you do hear the truth and you don't like it, now you're a hater. You're hating, which define hating. And usually when people have to define hating, it always comes down to you said something that wasn't true. Well, that's not the truth. Oh, well, you said something that I didn't like. There we go. There's hating. There's hating. But like I said, nothing that anybody said about Caitlin Clark isn't true. Because number one, the only thing that you've heard is praise. Dawn Staley said it. Yeah, somebody over here said it best. Dawn Staley says she's a generational player and one of the GOATs of our game. Well, I mean, what else do you want somebody to say? I mean, Lord have mercy. She said that. And guess what? Dawn Staley didn't have to. That was her moment. That was her moment to celebrate her national championship undefeated team. And guess what? She knew enough to say, this woman is special. I need to give her her due. And she did. And didn't have to. And why people are so bent out of shape about that, I have no idea. We can have different opinions, man. It doesn't make you a hater because I don't think that somebody's the greatest player ever. That doesn't make you a hater. That just means you have a different opinion. It also doesn't mean that I don't think somebody else is great. It just means I think somebody else is better. Lord have mercy. I love the conversation, and I'll get in the weeds with you on it. But we got to stop. Just because somebody doesn't say something, Lord have mercy. Rick James. So a Rick James wannabe is coming in here telling me that my teeth are bright? Woo. Lord have mercy. A Rick James wannabe. Put the crack pipe down, Rick James. Put it down, my man. Put it down. Yeah, that's true, Mike DeRuler. It goes both ways. To me, they haven't seen anything like her in the WNBA, and she hasn't seen the WNBA at all yet. Exactly right. And I know what people are bent out of shape about. Is they are mad because Diana Taurasi said that you look good playing against a bunch of 18-year-olds. But now you're going to be playing a bunch of grown women that have been playing professional basketball. So people got bent out of shape about that statement. Again, did she say anything that wasn't true? I'm just asking, did she say anything that wasn't true? I mean, playing against 18, 19, 20-year-old women versus playing against a woman that's playing for a mortgage, that's playing for car notes, that's playing, to support a family. That's different, man. That's different. So that's all. We got to look at it in that perspective. You got to look at it in that perspective. It's not about hating. So what she said is true, but you're constantly disregarding tone and context. Tell me what context am I disregarding? She was jealous. What does Diana Taurasi have to be jealous of Caitlin Clark of? I'll just wait for you to answer. Like, what has Caitlin Clark accomplished that Diana Taurasi hasn't. And if the first thing that you go to is the all-time scoring record, then the conversation is over. The conversation is over. She's more famous. Is that a real thing? I mean, is that a real thing? She's more famous. Okay. I can get you with that. You're right, too. You're right. She is more famous. What else? What's she accomplished? I mean, what's she accomplished? The video says otherwise. No, it doesn't. That's just your opinion because you're falling all over yourselves about Caitlin Clark. And if anybody doesn't say everything about her that is 100% glowing, then they're hating and they're jealous. We'll move on because that's the whole thing. The woman didn't say anything bad about her. She didn't say she couldn't play. She didn't say that she wasn't good. She didn't say any of those things. All she said was reality's coming. And she's right. But that's all I know. But if she didn't say that Caitlin Clark is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because she didn't say that, now she's hating and she's jealous. Even though she hasn't accomplished anything that Diana Taurasi has accomplished, she's jealous. It's always something. So, no, I can be as condescending as I want to, my man. You don't have to be here. I love you, but you don't have to be here. And then you can't challenge me and try to disrespect me and then tell me all of a sudden I'm being condescending. No, you can't do that. Be an adult. If you want to come at me, then I'm going to come back at you. Period. End of story. And again, that kind of goes to what you're talking about. You come at me being disrespectful, and I say you're wrong, and we don't agree, all of a sudden, well, you're being condescending. Grow up. Come on, man. I mean, Lord have mercy. You can't come at me and be disrespectful at me. We just disagree, and we can disagree. But then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, you're being condescending. Why? Because I don't agree with you? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Let's move on, people. Y'all got to grow up, man. We're all in this together. We are all in this together. But if we're going to be children about it, I can be a child too. I can go low. I prefer not to, but I will. I will. Let's move on. Let's move on. The Cowboys plotting on Micah Parsons. What are the Cowboys doing, people? What are they doing? I have no idea what they're doing. This is literally out of the ridiculous playbook 101. I mean, an owner, I got to pay a guy, so now I'm going to try to soil his name in the press. I'm going to leak stories to the media that he's tough to deal with. He's got a bad attitude. So when I give him a lowball offer and he says no, all of a sudden I can go back to the press and say, look, I offered him a deal. He told us no. He's being selfish. He doesn't want to help the team. And people will buy that. People will literally buy it. Unbelievable how people can get sucked in by that. No, did he? How they can just absolutely, Jerry Jones said it. It's in the media. It must be true. And I'm not even saying that Micah Parsons doesn't have a bad attitude. I'm not saying that at all. Because quite frankly, we don't know. Let's just say that he does have a bad attitude. What's the purpose of leaking that to the press? Because it got leaked. There's no question about that. Somebody didn't just write, oh, well, Micah Parsons, his attitude is wearing the Cowboys thin. No beat writer just came up with that out of the blue for a story. He was given quotes to go write that story. I think we can all agree on that. But Lord have mercy. I just can't understand. If you don't want him on your team, then trade him. If you don't want to pay him and you want to lowball him and you know he won't take the lowball, then just trade him and get rid of him. So And here's the thing. If Micah Parsons is causing such a distraction and he's causing such a problem, why do you want him on your team? I know why. Because he's a great football player. He's a great football player. You know? And that's the difference. Now, is he as great as what some people say? Like, oh, he's the next Lawrence Taylor. No, he's not. Okay? People got to stop saying that out loud. They've really got to stop. Look at my man Michael. Trade him to Washington. We'll take him. Hey, trade him to the Steelers. We'll take him. Shoot. There ain't no question. Look, it's not like Micah Parsons not any good. But again, right out of the playbook. And you watch. There'll be more stories that start coming out. There'll be more about how he's a problem. Now, if Micah Parsons is smart and he has a smart agent, he doesn't respond to any of these things. But if he responds, then he's stupid. And this is the reason why, is because then he's feeding into exactly what the Cowboys want. If he comes out and responds, he's literally doing exactly what they want him to do. Comes out, that's a lie. You know, he doesn't have to defend himself. He doesn't have to. Or he could come out and say this, which I kind of think that he should. You guys know that the Cowboys planted this story to try to lowball me on a new contract, to soil my name so that fans would think that I'm a problem. And leave it at that. Don't say anything else. Put an Instagram post out there just saying that. Hey, man, you guys know that the Cowboys are literally doing this to try to soil my name with fans so that when it comes to contract and they have to offer me a contract and they lowball me and I don't take it, they'll be able to tell everybody I'm selfish, you know, I'm greedy. They'll be able to say all those things about me. And my thing is, if you don't want me here, you don't want to pay me, just trade me. And leave it at that. Boom. Boom. I think he does that. I think he needs to do that. Cowboys are ridiculous. Jerry Jones is an idiot, man. Jerry Jones is an idiot. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's thinking. But this is just stupid. So, you know, I just, it's ridiculous is what it is. It's ridiculous. But it's going to work. It's going to work because I know how Cowboy fans are. They are going to be bent out of shape thinking that Micah Parsons is the world's worst person by the time this is all said and done. And maybe he has to end up taking a lower deal. If I'm him, I don't. I wouldn't take anything. But then they'll franchise him, which, you know, they picked up his salary, you know, his fifth year option as a defensive end versus a linebacker. And that defensive end was $3 million less, that fifth year option, than a linebacker. Wonder why they did that. Cowboys aren't slick. They're not slick. So, and people, hey, man, I wouldn't say, Walter, don't be done with the Cowboys. Don't be done with them. I mean, just get Jerry Jones to move off of what he's on. Jerry Jones is on that BS, man. And Pat Cockrell says it best. Jerry Jones at his finest. Worried more about saving money than winning. Boom. Absolutely. WCAN talking about our man Micah Parsons. Lawrence Taylor could stop the run. Micah, not so much. Exactly. That's been my only fault with Micah Parsons. He plays hard. He's really, really good in spots. But when you run the football, he's nowhere to be seen. He's nowhere to be seen. And too many times in big games and when they're playing big-time opponents, he's nowhere to be seen. That's my only beef with Micah Parsons. But he plays hard. He's very, very good. But if the Cowboys, if you don't want him, just let him go. Just let him go. You know, he doesn't have to be on your team if you don't like him. He doesn't have to be. So I get it. I can't pinpoint what the motivation is, unless they're trying to set themselves up because maybe Dak has a good year and they go to the NFC Championship game and they can't pay all three of them. Well, if you can't, trade them, and you should trade them now. If it were me, I keep CeeDee Lamb and I keep Micah Parsons. Dak Prescott can go. And it isn't because I don't think that Dak is a good quarterback, because I think Dak is a good quarterback. But we've also seen Dak's ceiling. We've seen it. And that ain't getting you to the Super Bowl. It ain't even getting you to the NFC Championship game. It's not doing it. So if that's the ceiling, then you got to get with somebody else and try again. Again, that's part of football. That's part of what this is. Sometimes you got to say to a guy, look, I love you. You're good, but we're trying to get here, and you can only get us here. I'm sorry. We got to go in a different direction. And maybe you take a step back. And because that's what people are afraid of. Well, if you get rid of Dak, what if you get somebody worse than Dak? Well, that's the risk. That's the risk. But what do you want, Cowboys fans? Do you want to continuously win games in the regular season and come up short in the playoffs and not even get to a conference championship game? Are you okay with that? Or are you willing to risk it, maybe take a step back if that happens, and keep trying to possibly get over the hump? Because what you're doing now is not going to change. And we've all heard the old saying, the definition of insanity is to continue doing what you've always done, expecting a different result. So somebody said they're ready to give Trey Lance a, nah, I don't know. My thing is, do we even know if Trey Lance can play? I mean, let's just be honest. Do we know? And you can say, well, he lost the backup job to Sam Darnold. I don't think he did, because I don't think they wanted him to be the backup. I think they preferred Sam Darnold over him, regardless of what he did in the preseason. You're telling me you couldn't have had Trey Lance be your backup quarterback? Give me a break. Yeah, you could have. I don't think San Francisco wanted him to be the backup. So I don't even think we know if Trey Lance can play yet or not. I hope that he can, but I don't think we know. So my man says he wants Micah Parsons to come to Detroit. Says they'll treat him well. Pat Cockrell, again, over on YouTube, Dallas is a running joke in the NFL. As long as they keep making it to the playoff, Jerry is okay with it. Yeah, he cares more than people are talking about Dallas than actual winning. That is 100% the truth. Jerry Jones has gotten to the stage because but he throws out little tidbits like he cares about winning. I'll pay a huge amount of money. I'll write a huge check to be able to win a Super Bowl. Would you? You've already got 3. You're mad that you didn't get the credit. You're past your prime. You don't know what you're doing. It isn't going to work. You just want credit, and hopefully they win. But if they don't, you're okay with it, because you know what? You're worth $10 billion, and you bought it for $180 million. Outstanding businessman, horrific football man. That's what it comes down to. And I feel sorry for Cowboys fans. Look, I make fun of you. I laugh at you. All of that stuff. And I always will. But truth being truth, I feel bad that you have an owner that's like this. But it's not just Jerry Jones. We're kidding ourselves if we think that Jerry Jones is the only owner that cares about money over winning. He's not the only one. I would say 3/4 of the owners care more about winning, or care more about money than winning. I would say 3/4, if not more. Now, it's a business, so they should care about money. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about money, but if it's a team and you're trying to win something, I don't know. So that's the difference. Yes, you're right. They're all about the bottom line. But most owners are about the bottom line. And again, it's a business. But the NFL, I mean, let's not be silly. You made your money already. If you buy an NFL team, you're not going to go broke. It's not like buying an NFL team in the 70s or 80s where you're having to balance budgets and do this and worry about, payroll and paying all these people. It is not the same. They're cutting NFL checks $300 million every year. The amount of tickets for parking, ticket prices, concessions, merchandise. Come on, man. If you bought an NFL team, you made it. You're never, that business is never going broke. It's built in that way. It's already built in. So, it's not like you're going to be losing money or breaking even. Don't try to tell me that NFL teams, they're just breaking even. No, they're not. Stop. So, with all the NFL rule changes, not sure players need to be paid a lot anymore. What? Because they make changes to the rules, you don't want NFL players to be paid? Oh, wow. I don't think I've heard that take, ever. I don't even know where you're coming from, other than because you don't think that you think the game is softer now. Okay. That's a weird take, but I respect it. It's weird, but I respect it. It's weird. They are still risky. I mean, just because they make certain things, less dangerous, it doesn't mean that they're still not risking their body. Let's keep it real, But I guess I get what you're saying. I respect it. I don't understand it, but I respect it. They don't open the books for NFL teams. Yeah, they kind of do. You know how much a team makes every year. And it's not that big of a deal either. They make a ton of money. They make a ton of money. Either way, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is the Cowboys plotting against Micah Parsons is just insane to me. Doesn't make sense. Ridiculous. Let's move on, man. Again, as a reminder, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily. We are live on YouTube. We are live on TikTok. We appreciate everybody being here. TikTok, we crushed the likes goal. We might as well make the next one to 10,000. Let's try to get there. Try to get some more people in. And if you are in and you're not following, please give us a follow, man. Also, share the live as well. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Last topic of the day, man. John Calipari put out a video yesterday saying why he left Kentucky. I mean, thanks for the gift, Dr. Walter. We appreciate it. But yeah, he put out a video saying why they left, why he's leaving Kentucky. And for all the stuff that Calipari does, I thought this was actually really good. He just admitted, and here in the last couple of weeks, man, it became apparent. Now, if he was being 100% transparent, he would have said, it's become apparent that you guys don't want me here. I don't want to be here, so I'm leaving. But you can't say that. So what he said was, they need a new voice. And he's right. He's right. Kentucky needs a new voice. So I like the simple fact that he said, it's time for me to leave. I'm not done coaching because I love coaching, but it's time for a different voice to run the program. I just have a feeling that Kentucky fans are going to be upset about who the next coach is. If it takes a step back, sometimes be careful what you wish for. Because I know some Kentucky fans, I'm from that area, they have been wanting John Calipari out of there for years. And now that he's gone, who are you going to get? It doesn't sound, now Billy Donovan might be the name because he didn't really say he didn't want the job. What he did say was, I'm committed to the Bulls. Well, hell, he's got to say that. They're still playing basketball games. Scott Drew is the name. I don't know if Scott Drew wants to put himself in that fire pit because that's exactly what the Kentucky job is. There's a lot of rewards, but it's an absolute fire pit. Supposedly there was a rumor yesterday, came out last night. They offered Dan Hurley $11 million to be the head coach. And then if he says no, that they're prepared to offer more. I don't know if any of that's true. That was the rumor. Scott Drew's a pretty religious guy. I just find it very difficult to believe unless the money is so great that he's willing to put his religious beliefs aside for that. Now, is that wrong? I'll ask you guys, is that wrong? Because that's everything that we've heard about Scott Drew. Loves Baylor, loves that it's a religious school, a super religious guy, not going to put that aside. Because I can tell you one thing, Kentucky is not a religious school at all. So, we'll see. So if he decides to take that job, wouldn't you say, you know what? I've got to put some of my moral compass, I've got to set a little bit of that to the side to take this job. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. That still doesn't mean the man isn't super religious. It just means, look, and who's to say? What if God says, hey, man, keep your moral and your religious beliefs, but take the money? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, people are going to be people no matter what you do. So if the fan base is crazy, they're going to be crazy. It is what it is. But the one thing that I know for a fact, money makes the world go round. And I'm not a person that tells somebody enough is enough. No, I don't do that. Because I don't want you telling me when enough is enough. So I'm not going to tell anybody else when enough is enough. Don't count my money. I won't count yours. I wish more people believed that. Stop counting other people's money. But I like what Calipari did and just came out and just said, hey, man, he loved it, but it was time to move on. It was time to move on. I think when they had the meeting at the end of the season, I think the athletic director said, look, man, we don't want to fire you because we don't want to pay $33 million. We've been really good to you over the years. Can you go find another job? Now, we'll take you back if another job doesn't come up that's really good, but can you try to go find another job? And I think he said, yeah, I'll do that. And look, Arkansas is not Kentucky. Let's not kid ourselves. Arkansas is not Kentucky. But Arkansas is not just some throwaway job either. And the one thing, people, that Arkansas has over Kentucky is money. Arkansas has more money than Kentucky could dream about having because they have got billion-dollar donors, and not just regular billion-dollar, Walmart money, Tyson chicken money. And Kentucky's got a lot of money. They don't have anything like that. They don't have anything like that. That's all I'm saying. You know, and people are saying, what are you talking about, Walmart money? The name of their arena is Bud Walton Arena. So they've got some cash. And again, Arkansas is not some throwaway job. You know, it's not just some run-of-the-mill job. It's not like going to Ole Miss. You know, he's not going there. They've got some cash behind them if they want it. And they want it. Sounds like Arkansas is trying to be good again. Now, I don't personally think that Coach Cal can really coach. I think that he struggles with X's and O's, but he can recruit. So he can recruit. Yeah, I saw it come across the ticker there, Chuck, that Cal is the new head coach. Finally got everything negotiated. So Austin, my man, what's going on over on YouTube? He says, Coach Cal handled this great. I think a lot was going on behind the scenes down in Lexington, and Cal will be happy to leave all that drama in Lexington behind. 100%, Austin. I think there was a ton going on in Kentucky. I think he just got to the point, look, unless I win a title, these people are not going to be happy regardless of how we do it. Now, part of that, you can't lose to Oakland and St. Peter's in the tournament. If you're Kentucky, you just can't do that. You can't. But either way, there was a lot going on. I think both sides wanted a fresh start. Not necessarily, they needed it, but both sides wanted it. I think Cal wanted out of there. And I think Kentucky wanted him out of there. They just didn't want to pay him $33 million to leave. So there it is. There it is. I like the fact that he got out, took another job. I'm really interested to see what Kentucky does, who the next coach is going to be. And don't put it past Billy Donovan. Look, what are they going to play another week? Because the Bulls aren't even going to – they're in the play-in tournament, but they're going to lose, and they're not going to make the playoffs. So I think the Bulls will be out. Give it another week. Give it another week. The Bulls will be done, and Billy Donovan will have a job within 3 days at Kentucky. That's who I think is going to be the new head coach, is Billy Donovan. That's who I believe. I don't think Dan Hurley's leaving. Why would he leave? He's trying to build a dynasty. He's got a ton of money. He's a Northeast guy. He's not a Kentucky guy. But we said the same thing about Rick Pitino. We said Rick Pitino was a Northeast guy, and he took the Kentucky job. So you never know. You never know. Hell, Rick Pitino left the Knicks to coach Kentucky. So if he can leave the Knicks to coach Kentucky, Dan Hurley can leave Connecticut to coach Kentucky. So I don't know. We'll see, man. We will see. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody being here today. We're going to shut this one down a little bit early today. I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you, guys. Again, Monday through Friday, Big B Daily, 9 a.m. Central Time. We appreciate everybody being here. Again, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. If you're not following on TikTok, please give me a follow. Also, click in there. Click in my bio and come over and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube. By football season, all interaction is going to be on YouTube. So please give that a thought. Please come over if you like what we're doing and want to support us. You know the ways that you can. Super chats on YouTube, gifts, likes, follow, subscribe, all the good stuff. We appreciate you guys, man. We will holler at you. Aloha.